All right, let's roll.
The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
We no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We're going to bring the news and reviews of your favorite brews. I am Dan Baker. I am socially distantly joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and not socially distantly joined by the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Yeah, it's going to be a good night. It's going to be a great night because we got good beers ahead of us, good company, good conversation. We have, joining us for this episode, two guys who are from a brewery that is becoming, very, very quickly becoming one of my favorite breweries. And the beers are just fantastic, and I can't wait to get into what we have going on and all the shenanigans I'm sure that will ensue because we've already been drinking a little bit. But we have joining us from Human Robot Brewing here in Philadelphia, we have
Ken Carell.
and
Chris Roller.
gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Cheers. Here.
Cheers indeed. It's God, I can't say enough good things about your beers, and I only just had them for the first time a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sorry it's taken so long. But I grabbed a couple crowlers.
Yeah, we've been waiting for you, man.
I know.
I've been there.
Can we consider it fashionably late? Can we still say that? Do I qualify for that?
Well, okay. In my defense, Ken. So, Human Robot.
I was say we were
opened in
attacking me, but
February.
it's in her defense.
Hold on. Human Robot opened in February. And I, of course, got there as quickly as possible. And it is always great to see Ken. And I had a great opportunity to hang out with Ken at my first time at Human Robot. And we talked about them being on the podcast. And then COVID came. And that's very sad. So we've been doing socially distanced podcast episodes since March. And selfishly, I would rather be doing this in person. I'm going to be honest, but for the safety of ourselves and our guests and our listeners, we have decided to continue doing this virtually for the foreseeable future, which I think is the best decision. But we couldn't wait any longer. We had to have your voice on the podcast. But as soon as all of this is over and it is safe to do so, we definitely need to do an in-person at Human Robot recording because that's only fair. I also didn't know that Rich would be driving to Philly every week to get an Autobot glass. So my fridge has been stocked with Human Robot crawlers for the last 5 weeks. So it's okay.
And I'm sure we'll
drink to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Rand.
When we're in person, we'll make sure Andrew's there as well.
All right, cool.
He's a follower of the podcast, and he loves you guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
He's actually been on our show before when he was brewing for St. Ben. So
Yeah.
that'd be perfect.
And I'm sure we will we'll dive into all of that in due time.
We will. I do want to interject one thing. I will say it's probably better that you're on this new version of our podcast that is virtual now, because when we first started doing this over the internet podcast thing, we hadn't quite figured it out. Now, we've since upgraded our equipment and our software, so we know how to do this now. So consider yourself lucky that it took this long, because now we actually know how to do...
Honestly, that's kind of like every day at Human Robot.
Yeah, fair enough. I think I know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Anyway, housekeeping.
Go, man, we take a shot at it.
Yeah, right.
Well, for you out there in podcast land, remember you can follow along at Beer Busters, is where you can find the action on Twitter and Instagram. On Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. We are also beerbusterspodcast.com. And don't forget the wonderful, elusive patreon.com/beerbusters, where you find your way into things like Last Call and the outtakes and the special behind-the-scenes feed. And when we're allowed to do basement recordings again and you're in the local area, you could find your way into the audience at a basement recording for Beer Busters.
Do all those things.
And while you're at it, drink a damn good beer like we're doing.
Yeah, can we talk about this?
I would say we're going
Let's jump right
out
in.
of the gate. We're going right in because this beer is fucking great. We started with, so the other day I was at Human Robot and I bought a couple crowlers.
What are we drinking about it? What are we talking about? By the way?
So we've got said like 12 degrees.
Sweet. Settler!
Oh, we didn't even plan this.
No,
It's perfect.
Chris is not drinking that. You can tell by his face.
No.
He's like, oh, man.
Hold on. This requires the patented
Oh, the picture
is
of
it
the picture
computer screen.
the picture
Everyone
of
hold
the
up their
screen,
growlers.
and then Chris just like hang your head in shame because you didn't have you didn't have the right beer. You didn't know.
Got it.
Don't have the right beer.
Oh wow.
It's in the fridge.
Well, that's what matters.
All right, so we're all drinking Sedlick except Chris. I am curious, what are you drinking?
Yeah, what
right
are
now,
you
Chris?
drinking, Chris?
I actually have the Away from the Numbers only because my wife opened this. There is a Sedlec 12 in the fridge, but I got her leftovers from her crowd.
Fair enough. We have a crowler of that out here as well. Steph
jumped
has
ahead.
one, so yeah, we're going to get to that
Yeah,
one.
we definitely
eventually,
will.
too.
The beer is fantastic. I was there the other night, and I had a couple of great beers on site, and I knew I had to bring stuff home, and I knew that I should get a couple extra crowlers because we were having you guys on the show tonight. And I'm telling you, man, every beer that I've had from Human Robot so far has just been out of this world, incredibly insane. And this is no exception to that. This is just such a great beer. And I have to ask, is it 12 degrees or is it just said like 12? Like, how do I actually name the beer? How do I say it?
It's 12 because it's 12 Plato. You know,
Okay.
the Czech,
Right.
Czech 10. And this was actually brewed a little stronger, so it's a 12.
So do I actually say the word degrees, though?
Say
since
degrees
there's the
Plato and
degree
you'll be
symbol?
really
No,
cool.
we just call it Sedlec 12.
Okay, all right.
Shorthand. You know, the thing about beers like this
Kind of
is,
like Star Trek-esque, you know. It's like, well,
yeah, it does sound like a planet. That's
special
true.
Base, it's like
Yes.
12.
We are in
So,
orbit
Chris,
around
can
Sedlick
you
12.
Chris, can you maybe explain to our listeners the difference between a Czech Pils and, say, a German Pils?
Yeah, I mean, so especially our brewer Andrew, he's a stickler. So for us, specifically, it's malt and hops. You know, whenever he's doing anything that's going to be called a German Pilsner, it has to be, for instance, our house hop for that is the Hellertau hop. Whereas with this is the Saz hops. We go with the Czech Noble hop. To differentiate between the two. And that's his bigger thing. Our Czechs tend to be maybe slightly, our Czech 10 is a little bit more of a golden, maltier feel than the German version. The beer you're drinking right now is the Sedlec. Basically, that's actually dry hopped with Saz, believe it or not. And that was a big... Andrew had been mentioning it to me for a while. He's like, I've been dreaming up this beer in my head.
Dream beer.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, man, let's do it. Because we do the El Cielo series as well. Oh. And I just think that's my favorite lager that we're doing right now.
I love that one.
And there's not much of it left. It moved pretty quickly. So
there may or may not be a few hidden beers at Memphis Tavern.
Oh, there better be.
You don't say.
Well, should we start at the beginning?
I think we probably should.
We should,
So,
yes.
Well, the beginning for me, as our listeners know, literally my favorite place to hang out and eat and drink in the city of Philly is Memphis Tap Room. And that's how I initially connected with Ken. And then I found out that he was going to be involved with Human Robot. And I'm like, well, if Ken is part of Memphis Tap Room, Human Robot, of course, is going to be amazing because I have such a high opinion of Memphis Tap Room. So Human Robot is located in the spot where St. Benjamin Brewing was located, which is that technically...
It's technically Kensington.
Is it technically Kensington?
Yeah.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to sound stupid.
North Philadelphia.
Old Kensington.
Old Kensington.
With an E.
Ye olde Kensington.
Ye old Kensington.
But the best part of you guys grabbing up that spot is the way that you, and I guess especially Andrew, have embraced that brew house there with the amazing lagers, but also making pretty impressive IPAs. And yes, those words just came out of my mouth. And some really fun fruited sours. But Ken, maybe we'll start with you and talk about kind of your relationship with the Philly scene, and then maybe how Human Robot came to be.
Well, I mean, I go back with Philly beer 30 years. Being friends. Kurt Decker actually is a good friend of mine, and through being friends with Kurt, became friends with Tom Peters. He took multiple trips to Belgium and friends with Tom Kehoe. And, over the years, I've really, through Kurt and through other friends, just got to know a lot of people in the Philly beer scene. Memphis Tap Room came about, like 12 years ago now, where my friend Brendan, Kurt, and myself were looking for a place. And we thought, the beer market in Philadelphia, which was still growing at the time, had plenty of room to move. And we got that little spot in Kensington and just been loving it ever since. The last few years, though, it's time to kind of move on with a new project. I have a daughter that's a brewer. So her and I were kind of kicking around different ideas. And then she ended up going to Belgium to school, came back from there. There she worked in Cantillon and Hoften Dormal, went out to the West Coast, went to school at UC Davis for a Master Brewing Certificate, and landed a job at the Rare Barrel and just kind of, I don't want to say stuck there because she enjoys it. Just got moved up to be the head blender, but she's learning. And we had always talked about this project. So I've always been kind of kicking the tires on doing something different. That said, Jake Atkinson is Chris and my third partner. Jake and I bought a building in Kensington. We talked about having a small 1-barrel brewery, 3-barrel brewery that really was just going to be kind of like a friends and family, fun project that we would just do whatever we wanted. It didn't really matter. If people didn't like our beer, that's cool because, our friends would hang around and we would drink it and we would have a good time nonetheless. Flash forward, the St. Ben's project was a friend of Brendan's, bought the building. And there were a lot of rumors that these greedy developers had bought the building and they didn't want a brewery there, which is all untrue. And it was kind of weird because there was this real weird vibe going around through St. Ben's that, that they were being thrown out of the space when in fact, Tim owned the building, was making the deal himself. But in retrospect, we found out there may have been a little bit of, anxiety with the staff. There wasn't a lot of communication with the staff. So some of it grew out of that. Anyway, long story short, Brendan kind of turned us on to the project. Jake and I started talking about it. Chris was my bank manager at the time. And I kept going in to talk to him about it. He was the biggest beer nerd I knew. He's like, oh, I was in Boston this weekend. I went to Trillium. Oh, I ran down to Virginia. I was at Aslan. I mean, it's literally every week I would go. I need to tell them stories of where he
sounds like Steph.
Yeah, exactly.
Oops.
So one day I came in and I was like, dude, I'm going to call you one of these days. We're going to involve you in this project. He's like, oh, too late. I quit my bank job. I'm going to Seabolt. He went to Seabolt, came back, and he was working at ours and an imprint when Jake and I kind of took this a little further. And then we reached out to him to see if he might be interested in joining us. While that was all transpiring, we were kicking around all these different names for our brewery. Jake had a dream, and out of a Daft Punk song is where Human Robot came. We were kind of like, oh, can we call Human Robot a brewery? I loved it right away because I've been buying beer forever, and it's so hard with new breweries coming out all the time to distinguish, Brick City from Barrier through someone else in North Jersey. And I love all of those breweries, but as a buyer, you kind of would get confused. So I thought Human Robot was, a name that you would remember. One day we were having lunch during beer week, and we happened to be having lunch with Rob Todd from Allagash. And I was like, Rob Todd, kind of slapping him on the side. I was like, so we're thinking about this brewery name called Human Robot. What do you think? They did this kind of and Rob Todd does this kind of introspective look. He's like, Kenny, I like it. So I turned around and I was like, all right, I don't know if this is it. I'll give you the version that I won't curse. I was like, all right, this is what we're calling the brewery.
You can curse. It's fine.
You can totally
it's the
curse.
internet. You're allowed to fucking swear.
All right, everybody, shut the fuck up about the name. Human Robot. I don't want to hear any more Sunflower Hill, Old Kensington, this neighborhood. It's all bullshit. It's Human Robot. Rob Todd approved. RTA. That's it.
Rob Todd approved.
And people would say something like RTA. I was like, what's that? I said, it's Rob Todd approved. Our name's bulletproof.
Oh my God. That is the best.
And then Rachel, I represent Rachel's interest in the project. At some point, she'll come back from the West Coast. But I'll be honest with you, hanging out with these guys every day, it's just a blast. It's been so much fun. I love the restaurant business, but the restaurant business can be a little tough on you sometimes. It can wear you down. The breweries we just go there and do fun, stupid things, and they tend to work out. We have a grain farmer that comes and picks up our grain. He comes over from New Jersey. He's interesting enough. He's a staunch Trump supporter with a Chinese wife. I'll start asking him a question. Oh yeah, so it's all it's kind of like incoherent. So his explanation for something. Super great guy. And then we have like the hippie honey farmer that like shows up on a whim whenever you want. And Ethan from Forum that'll come over. And just there's this eclectic mix of people in there from all political persuasions all over every day. And it's just a blast. I just love hanging out.
Mostly we like to hunt flies.
Chris and Andrew, we go, I get to shoot flies.
Oh my God.
That's the biggest pastime in human
Andrew
robot.
working his ass off, the staff's running stuff the window. Jake and I go around and shoot flies and, try and figure out stupid things to do.
Now, human robot, though, is not just a name. It's also sort of the whole mantra behind the business.
Rich
Chris, maybe I should let you talk and explain that.
I must be getting drunk already because I'm no longer drinking from the glass. I just took a sip.
Right from the crowler. That's how you do.
Oh, I love it.
Arg.
Yeah, well, oddly enough, it's funny that you decided to swing that my way because that was actually Kenny's. That evolved out of meetings we had with Andrew, our brewer originally, who's a lager guy. And then I said, oh, well, I have some background doing these fruited sours where, we'll just brew some kettle sour and then I'll do a different flavor each week. And his eyes got big as saucers. He's like, what? But we talked him through it. And I said, look, we're going to do some hazy IPAs and all that kind of good stuff. And that's when it gleaned on Kenny. He was like, hey, what we can do is the human side of things is our traditional lagers and stouts and things like that. And then the robot version could be hazy IPAs, stouts that we have done, taken and maybe repurposed into, Neapolitan. We have Mr. Rubber Latte, which is basically a hard coffee, and our Splash series. So that came just oddly enough fell magically into the human robot. And that Ken, you got to give credit where credit's due. That was Kenny's idea.
Well, I mean, Chris, thank you for that. We all kind of did it. But one of the things, quite honestly, in getting into the project, talking to Rob Todd, Jake and I talked about, is we really wanted to, there was this disconnect between the old school beer world and the new school beer world. You have people like Garrett Oliver, like shitting all over hazy IPAs. And he's brewed some amazing beers. But, I was always like, listen, I think that's what people said about people's beers 30 years ago. But we were, I love a great Pilsner. I love a great lager. I love a traditional West Coast beer. But as a beer bar, I had to personally, over the last few years, find a way to marry beers that I would be proud to serve, both as an old school publican and things that were hitting the market that were new and different. And I think Memphis, we've been able to do that. And with this project, I really thought we could do that. So as I framed it, we framed it to Andrew, like, hey, we're going to make these great traditional beers. And then we're going to do really stupid beers. We want to throw like a bunch of pineapple and 3 million different kinds of hops in beer. We're going to do that. We want to make a sour beer that sounds like ridiculous. We're going to do that. And we'll have fun with it. And that's really what the name of the game is. We get together, have fun, brew stuff that we want to drink, but also brew stuff that's experimental and, maybe a little futuristic. It may not always be well received by both sides. Maybe it's one side or the other. But we really are working our best way forward to kind of bring those worlds together. And it's amazing to us how many people, like, we become renowned for our lagers, which was, we thought we were making the lagers for us, and commercially we were going to make hazy beers and interesting things and, push the envelope a little bit. And, lo and behold, people like both sides of the equation, which has been great.
Yeah, well, I think there has been we spent the last, 2 or 3 years on this podcast shitting all over hazy IPAs as well. And, recently, me personally, I think my co-host will agree, I've kind of taken a step back and been like, I don't want to be that old get off the lawn guy.
Yeah, drink what you want.
And I'm trying to be a little less judgmental of the new generation of craft beer drinkers and the crazy shit that they're doing. And because that's what beer's about. It's about experimenting and having fun. But I do also think that whole explosion that sort of represented by hazy IPAs, but isn't just about hazy IPAs, is experience a bit of a bounce where now I feel like there is also a kind of resurgence of interest in traditional style. So I think positioning yourself as like having both sides of that coin is really smart and also bridges that gap. And I'm not surprised that you've been praised for your lagers, both because they're really delicious and also because I feel like the market is starting to crave that more traditional stuff again as well.
For 5 years, we've been saying it's the year of the lager. It's fucked for everything else, but it's the year of the lager.
It's finally happening.
The end of the world had to come, but we'll have great lagers we'll get down with.
Yeah, also because you can stockpile them a lot longer than you can these like really delicate IPAs.
That's a great point.
We often say that we do our hazies and our fruited sours just to supplement our lager program.
Yeah.
So that's basically how it's thought of a lot of times there.
What's the fruited one that's on right now? It was the
triple berry fluff, baby.
There it is. Yep. And he left the frame.
He's probably going to
He's going to grab it. Yeah.
But the glass is still perfect in the shot.
Have you ever seen one of these? This is when we have. So, Steph, you're talking about overfilled crowers. Quite honestly, we double purge and fill every crower the same way it come off a commercial line. But then we weigh them. So we ever get light ones, the light ones will kind of not get labeled. But so this is, I don't know if you guys can see that.
You see a triple berry fluff. Yep.
Does it have marshmallow in it?
It does.
Holy shit.
Oh, dear God.
Oh, God.
What have you done, Chris?
I didn't have this the other night, and I'm regretting it because I kind of want to try it.
Wait,
darn, I gotta go back.
There, it's kind of like yeah, it's like purple tomato juice.
It's so thick.
It's so thick.
They like the thickies, the kids like
the thickies. Is that what we're calling them now?
Well, I mean, can we describe this beer as thick with 2 C's? Is that how this works?
Yeah. We need like a rap beat behind us, though.
I'm not that drunk yet.
You didn't get the Smurfs blood splash. She really would have been taken aback.
What?
We did a Smurfs blood.
Is it blue?
It was an interesting color for sure. It was like a dark navy color.
Oh my God.
It was like a weird, dark, metallic blue. So we were throwing different names about, like Robo Skin, this and that. Chris pulled something together with pea berry flour, right? Right?
Yeah.
Or butterfly pea.
Butterfly pea.
Yes. And at the end of the day, it was this really weird color. So we were kicking around ideas, and one of us came up with the Smurf blood splash. We're like, yes, perfect.
Is that what color Smurf's blood is?
Yeah, it looked almost exactly like a Smurf. Like,
well, I guess we probably
he would bleed Smurf blood splash.
Well,
I don't think canonically there's a color of Smurf blood. I don't think anybody who officially makes Smurfs has ever defined what the color of Smurf blood is.
Wait. The first result is from sci-fi.stackexchange.com, and I've used Stack Exchange for IT problems.
I know, yes.
They bleed red.
They bleed red.
Officially, the color of Smurf blood is not known, though there is enough information to conclude that they have red blood. The real reason why their skin is blue is unknown. I actually have to click on this now. Okay, so is this just a misleading...
All those Smurf berries they were smurfing for.
That's true.
Wait, what you eat does not change the color of your blood.
We transfuse the Smurf blood without ever hitting oxygen. So
there you go. That's what it is.
That's good. I was going to make that point, Ken. That's good.
Yep. The oxidation of the air.
Ken wins.
Oxygen in our Smurf blood. Sorry.
So it's pure, uncut, untouched Smurf blood.
We do everything to mitigate oxygen that we can in this brewery, and that was one of the side effects.
Including the Smurf's blood.
This is the worst fucking rabbit hole to go down.
Oh
my God.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Now I'm going to do that later.
I know. Anatomy of Smurfs.
I do have somewhere in the fridge downstairs. I have an old Smurf blood. I don't know. It might be like some weird green now, so I'm a little scared to pour it on.
Yeah, who knows what color it's going to be.
Vulcan blood, Smurf blood. Who knows?
I think it's a bad idea to open a third crowler 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, we're still working through the Sedlick here.
I want to point out that Ken now has 3 glasses in front of him.
That's fine. I've still got whiskey.
I did this one. But...
I also still have the Black is Beautiful from Idiom. We only drank like half the crowler.
Like that label.
Well,
yeah.
I think Rich's plan was for me to be drunk by the end, so I wrote down and told you when the glass was coming. Anyway.
I already got pressured on that.
Yeah. Well, why don't we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about those glasses.
You guys have been doing releases, and by the time this episode airs, I from what I gather, they'll all be done. But you've been doing Transformers glasses with your beer on a certain. A certain release. It was a
Transformers glasses. We've been playing within a concept of like robots that transform into other things. I'm sorry.
They were Transmorphers. Okay.
Transmorphers. Okay. All right.
Because that was going to be one of my questions. Was like how is that possible?
Because
that
they're not Transformers.
Because it's similar robots. But legally distinct.
Yeah, similar to but legally distinct from.
Transformer-like.
Yeah.
If we go reverse a little bit, we do stupid things. We don't always think them through. So
there's Honeybee and Optimus Prim.
Yes.
Well, so. Let's put it this way.
Optimus Prime. He comes with a little like street art on.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's fitting considering the wall across the street.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Kensington fashion.
Yeah, some badass art over there. So you, over the last several months, have been releasing some pretty unique and cool glassware in the robot realm. And I have to say, I think your concept is really cool. I like how you release the glass. They're super limited edition, but it's a package deal where you also get 2 crowlers of beer. And I think that's a really cool concept because I have to say, when I order human robot beer, I always order the lagers. But ordering some of these glasses, I've been encouraged to enjoy some of your hazier options. But I will. So when I was there in February, Ken reassured me. He's like, "No, Steph, you're gonna like them. You're gonna like this IPA. You're gonna like it." And I will be honest. And my cohort Dana here, who also she despises IPAs more than I do. We have every IPA that we've had from the robot glass releases.
Dana's more judgmental, which is why she doesn't have a microphone in front of her.
We have thoroughly enjoyed them, I will say. So I think, and I guess, Chris, this is a credit to you. You are doing a really nice job of creating what we could call a hazy IPA, but still putting out a really fucking tasty beer. I mean, I've really enjoyed the hoppy beers that you guys have been creating. And yes, those words actually came out of my mouth.
That's a shocker. Yeah, it's all part of a process that we've been working on, and it's come to now where we know we're going to do. We do a lot of just Pils malt, and but maybe some days I'll say, "Hey, Andrew, let's change the ratios between sulfates and salts, just to give each one a different and unique flavor." And we'll do different mash temps here and there, depending on which yeast we're using. So kind of like, every single one of my biggest thing is we don't want every single one of our IPAs to taste the same as the last one.
Yeah.
You can always switch the hops, but we try to do more than just change the hops up to try to give it a little more variety in color, flavor, bitterness, all those things,
So do you think that's what it is? Is it like, oh, I've not had this before? Do you think it's that? Or why do I like your IPAs, but I don't particularly care for most other? Well, and I don't get me wrong. I love a West Coast IPA. I love an old school American IPA. I'm just this whole hazy. I especially don't like lactose.
Oh yeah,
turns me off. But I heard that sound clip.
I didn't. That was by mistake. Sorry.
But why is it worked perfectly? Why is it that I like your IPAs and not most other hazy IPAs?
That's a good question. We try to keep them balanced, but I'm sure a lot of other folks are trying to do that out there as well. We have never used lactose to this point. I don't see us ever using it in an IPA. We've kicked around some confectionery stout ideas where that may or may not contain lactose. But as far as the IPAs go, it could be just our process. Andrew coming from a strong background of lager brewing. Mm-hmm. He likes a lot of balance in his beers, and it's probably showing through in our IPAs.
And I mean, lagers are that's my jam. So
it also can maybe, Chris, and you can speak better to this than I can, and maybe somewhat in Andrew's malt selection is also some of the IPAs.
Say that again.
I think maybe some of Andrew's malt selection too for the IPAs, because he does come from such a strong lager background.
Yeah, and like for instance, he's never used certain malts that I'm a big Golden Promise guy, and we've ordered some Golden Promise. He's never worked with that before. Now we're like certain IPAs are only Golden Promise, and some are a mix. It just depends on which IPA we're making, but it tends to lend a broad spectrum of flavors throughout our IPAs. And it could be that, Stephanie. It could be just that you are tasting something a little bit different than what you're usually used to getting.
Oh, that's a really good answer. I didn't think of it from that perspective, but it's good. So I've been inspired, and I feel like we should open the IPA next, especially since that is what Chris is drinking right now.
Yeah, right. Wait, what do we have that one, Dan? What I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. The Away from the Numbers.
Yes.
Away from the Numbers.
I was going to say Across the Numbers. I apologize.
So the Sedlec 12, real quick.
Yeah.
Is named for the ossuary in Sedlec in the Czech Republic, the Bone Church. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but one day Andrew and I were speaking about it, and we had both been there. So he was like, "Oh, perfect for that beer." So we kind of tried to come up with new and exciting names for beers. Away from the Numbers is a jam song, and only a few people caught it on Instagram. But we generally will come up with songs or lyrics, and we'll name beers after that. So that's what Sedlec was, and this is what Away from the Numbers is. It's an old jam song.
Very cool.
So
tell us about this IPA.
So interestingly enough,
the secret hidden project of Andrew Foss.
This is actually brewed with Belgian yeast.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. So this was through a little bit of chicanery from Andrew. I said, "Hey, what's in?"
Holy crap!
Oh my God. Wow!
I didn't remember brewing this beer.
Talk about full growlers. Hold on.
Growlers.
The growlers.
Are you having trouble with our growlers?
So
it's to the brim.
Literally, the surface tension of the beer has caused a bubble to come out of the hole on top.
We love it.
It totally sprayed me in the face.
Fucking oxygen.
No deal with those beers, baby.
No fucking
That's
oxygen.
Please open it up, baby.
Sorry, Chris. Please continue telling us about this fabulous beer.
Yeah. So this beer actually, Andrew was convinced he could dupe us with a different yeast strain. And so he went behind our backs. And the funny thing is, I knew that he had ordered the yeast, and then I saw that there was this phantom beer in one of our fermenters, and I was like, "Oh, I don't remember us brewing that." So about 2 weeks later, when it was ready for transfer, we drank it. I'm like, "Oh, this is good." And he goes, "Yeah, that's that yeast I was talking about." So and I was like, "Oh, I knew it." As soon as I realized that beer was a beer I did not remember at all, that was the one you were going to do with the yeast, and I wound up forgetting about it anyway. So yeah, this is actually a Belgian Pale Ale yeast strain with Equinox hops and Mosaic.
I love Mosaic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the blueberry from the Mosaic. I think it's a great hop.
Well, I like this beer.
Now, does that mean I'm on my third can now?
Ken's going for a wardrobe change.
Does Ken secretly have like 9 other people there with him sharing beers?
No. No.
I'm expecting him to come back like Elton John in a different outfit.
I love it. He'll just put a different human robot shirt on every time.
So this beer is a little bit different in that respect from our this is the only IPA right now that has the Belgian yeast.
Well, definitely it comes through. It's the hoppiness is there. You get the Belgian aspect of it. There's a nice it mellows it out a little bit, which I think might be why the lager drinkers that we are will like this, because it's not as in your face as some of the other IPAs that the kids like, the thick with 2 C's.
Well, no, and I really think it's something we haven't had before. I don't think there are a lot of people that would think, let's use a Belgian yeast in a hazy IPA.
In the game.
Oh, God.
It does something really special to the beer. See? Look.
See?
It just exploded.
Come on.
Case and
it's never
point.
fun until somebody gets hurt. What's a crowd without a little beer in your eye?
Fair. I got. When I opened this one, I got a little beer on Dan's iPad.
I didn't bring another one. So we're gonna go with the Rare Barrel last year.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. Nice rare barrel. All right.
And for the record, Ken is now on his 4th glass.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's just all kinds of glasses in the shot there. I don't know what's what anymore.
I think he's just showing off his glassware now.
I think so.
Wait till the Tech 10 comes out.
Oh,
Oh, man.
Case in point. Oh my god.
I wasn't prepared for this one, but I found the glass.
It took you all 10 seconds.
Hey, as a publican, I'll take on a glassware collection. Like we can take a glassware tour. We'll be here for hours.
Yeah.
Our glassware disappears, so.
Oh, yeah.
I paid for mine.
Ooh, I forgot how great this beer is.
I didn't pay for this one.
That's
It's
Dan's
nice.
MMR pint.
Rock Me I'm Irish, St. Patty's Day 2011.
Fantastic.
And I've got, what do you call this?
9 years ago.
What do you call this? The Imperial pint with the bulge? Is that what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Battle of the
English
Bulge.
pint.
English pint, yeah.
What do you got? A John Courage you're going with there?
Ooh.
Oh, what now?
What? Yeah.
We missed Courage. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, I missed that beer.
What
Can
was-
we talk about this head too?
It's it lasts. It's been one of the things we've found in our process that has been all of our IPAs have had a really substantial creaminess and head retention that we're pretty happy with.
Really beautiful.
It's funny because one day I do some of the Instagram, and I took a picture. Chris loves the pictures of like the juice beers with the IPAs with like no head, and some old head, get off my lawn kind of dude, like shit all over. It's like, oh, I'd like to see some carbonation on the beer. And I took some with a beautiful head on. I was like, oh, like this or this, and sent them right back in like an instant message. And then I totally felt like an asshole for doing it, but it's like. We'll take pictures of beers in different way, but I mean, every beer pretty much that we pour, the splash will have a little bit of head. It'll dissipate quickly. But everything else we have, we love great head retention.
Yeah.
Just part of a good beer drinking experience.
It really is, and it's not just aesthetics. Like it captures the aroma. It kind of creates that effervescent feeling when you're drinking it, and like, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why like old school Germans are very particular about how the beer is poured, like from the tap, and how the head, the ratio to the beer.
So you know what? It goes back to and we mentioned this a couple episodes ago when we had Tim on from Harris Family. It's about education. Education is paramount, especially in the beer. I mean, it's in life in general, but it's certainly the beer industry needs a little more education, I would say, for the casual consumer. Because when I was younger, granted, I was dumb. But whenever I would see a beer come to me with like even an inch of head, I'm like, no, fucking fill it up. Go give me the beer I'm paying for.
I want all of it.
Yeah, but now I understand that there is a very important purpose in having that level of head in a beer. It's like the other night when I was there, I still will never know how to pronounce it. Palatmavy, Palatavme,
Polotomave.
Oh
my
God. That is my favorite human robot
I would
beer.
never ever
It's
get that
mine,
pronunciation
too.
out of it, but it's so fucking good.
I've been calling it Pamatlavy or whatever.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
wait, hold on, stop, Chris. Say it again.
Polotomave.
Polotomave.
that one.
What? Hold on. What does it mean, and what language is it? Polotomave.
Interestingly enough, so the beer wasn't originally supposed to be a Polotomave. Andrew and I wanted to brew a Tomave Pivo, which is a Czech-style kind of Schwarz beer.
Oh, see, I know what Pivo is. Yeah.
Yeah, Pivo is beer, and Tomave is dark.
Yeah.
So when we brewed it, I noticed as we were sending it through that it was a little lighter than we had aimed for. And I'm like, well, depending on how it tastes, well, it can be a Polo Tomave, which means light dark. So
So dark, but not
down.
too dark.
yeah, it means half dark, I believe, technically.
Oh, right.
Polo Tomave. So there are other breweries that make them. Czech Republic, of course. There's one brewery in I think Massachusetts or somewhere that's making it. But oddly enough, I drink it like it's iced tea. I think it's just
so
the most
good.
It's really good.
And
delicious beer.
I gotta point out, and I just showed Wayne, I wrote the pronunciation down earlier, but I doubted myself, so I
Polotomave.
had.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
but I mean, either way, it's a damn good beer. It's a dark malty lager, and it's so
So
fucking
and
good.
as a name, it is actually a term that refers to beer. It's not. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I remember when we ordered our original crowlers, we saw it on the website, and it was that it translates to half dark.
There was half dark in the description.
Yeah, so
which,
it's and I mean we are the lager podcast now apparently, and we were like, hey, yeah, let's get
carried
that.
away. There's not just the lager podcast.
We kind of
like English ales.
We do. But
You like English?
we got
ale?
that, and I opened it up.
it's true, but that's where you went.
After we opened it up, I couldn't believe the beer that I was drinking because it was so damn good. So back to what I was saying about the head on the beer. When I got it poured in this really cool glass, but there was a good like 1/2 inch to 3/4. Yep, it's that one. It was one of those, and there was good 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch head, give or take, and part of me went back to my old habits of like, what the fuck is this? Then the other part of me was like, no, this is how it's supposed to be served. This is how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, and we pour this from Luker faucets as well, that we got from the Czech Republic. So that adds a certain element of creaminess to it as well.
It's like the slow pour. We were at Victory. We did like the slow pour pills and talked about that whole thing a lot. Where the way that the beer is delivered to the glass can change the experience of drinking it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Talking about beer stock and slow pour pills, we're working on a tower because
Oh shit!
No! It broke! Oh no!
Hey, no.
Wait. At least you broke your glass and not the beer
That's
stock
exactly
glass.
right.
There's
I can't
more
wait
where
to
that
tell-
came from.
Another-
Dude, this is now we're ready for a Kenzo bar fight.
Yeah, right. That looks
One of my
dangerous.
bartenders just said, "Well, Ken broke like 6 glasses the first day we were open."
Nice.
Wow.
So this is
Hold
also
on, not only did they break it though. Look at aye.
that's pretty clean.
Wow.
Yeah. It does look like a telescope.
That's talent.
Another advantage of doing a podcast like this is that if we were in person, all that shit would have spilled all over our mixer.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, but that's all over me and my iPad.
I don't know how long the warranty is on the mixer, so thank God it didn't.
Me and Dave were just talking the other day about how amazing it is that none of our equipment has been ruined.
Yeah.
And all the time that and we spilled a lot of beer.
It's seven years worth of equipment that has survived.
We
beer
just
spills.
somehow every time we spill the beer, it just doesn't quite ruin the electronics, which we've
You
been very
just
lucky.
jinxed us.
I did. Well,
Here, hold on. Let me sprinkle a little on you. Father Ken here.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
we're being blessed right now.
I mean, actually, you guys jinxed me with the whole like beer change, wardrobe change thing. You know, like,
And now
That's
he's got to
true.
change the
That's
wardrobe.
true.
Yeah.
That was Chris, by the way.
thanks, Chris.
He brought that up.
the power of hops compel you.
So Ken was making a very salient point about slow pour pills, but now he has to clean himself up. So
Yeah, no. So we were really inspired by their slow pour pills. We're going to be putting in a tower. We'll be doing them. Whenever you go to Colorado, of course, beer stocks like your number one stop. You just sit there and watch them being poured. So, we will have slow. I mean, we were pouring them as a slow pour pills, but we're also going to have a tower to be able to do them just to just do the showmanship of it all.
right.
Because the showmanship of it all, like pouring a propaganda, is just amazing.
Yeah.
Can I move in, Ken?
Move on in.
I'll just put a cot in the brew house.
There you go. And we'll find you a spot. Because our brew house, we're bringing stuff in all the time, and somehow he gets on the forklift, moves it around, and it doesn't look like we brought anything else in.
Yeah.
I love it. Bierstadt is like, I love that they are, I mean, they're like my favorite brewery ever, but I love that they are inspiring other breweries as well. And Ken, I agree with you. I really think it finally is the year of the lager.
At the end of the world, but we're there.
Yeah. That's what it takes.
And I really think the slow pour is kind of making the lager cool.
Yes, I would agree with that.
We're in.
And again, the showmanship of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
showmanship
where
is
else do
big.
you go where they put the beer in front of you and you automatically order your next beer right away? Like,
Yeah.
that's badass.
That's the key.
That's so
Yeah.
badass.
And
They put it in front of you and you already order your next beer. It's the best.
Oh, he's
And
drinking
as a
it.
Republican,
Oh,
walk
he's
it right.
drinking it.
Order
There's
another
the-
one right now.
Polo
Polo
Tamave.
Tamave.
Polo Tamave.
Polo
I
Tamave?
was inspired to go grab a Polo Tamave.
It's so fucking
It is
good.
really
And when
good.
I left, I wanted a crowler of it, and they told me they didn't have any, and they wouldn't for weeks. But I had two of them when I was there, and I'm so upset that I could. It's so good. It's so.
I almost don't want to open this then.
That's gold.
Yeah.
I
Right.
like to drink those
Go.
in the brewery. Ken always makes fun of me because I drink milk pours in the brewery. The polo tomato is great for that. You can fill the whole glass with cream, and if you wait it out, you get like half a bowl of delicious creamy polo tomato.
And then Poe's guys bring a big spoon out for him. he's like an old Czech lady eating his food.
I love milk. I love a milk pour.
I'm about to cry out of jealousy that you have that right now, and that Steph has a fucking crowler of it.
Wow. This is what happens when we drink whiskey at the beginning of the night. Dan's getting all emotional over here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you don't know about the things I'm not talking about.
Oh boy,
there's gonna be some "I Love You" mans tonight.
Yeah, right.
That's a good movie, and I might watch that tonight. Now,
well, speaking of being at your place and the showmanship of beer and yada yada yada, you guys also have a food element to the business. Now, it's not you guys, but you have another business that you're in partnership with.
We do. We have a leasing, and it is a partnership. We got a little bit of issues during the whole beginning of the protest, because we have different political philosophies. But, frankly speaking, they make good food. We enjoy having them. They're kind of fun people to be around. And they fit with the whole human-robot sensibility, which is have fun when you go to work, do the best you can, put out the best product that you can, because they really do put out a great product. And, and they feed us.
Well, that's good.
That's always good.
I had the fried chicken sandwich that the description made it seem like it would be spicier than it was, but it was still delicious. But I had that the other night.
Which one was it?
The one that was supposed to be spicy.
Chicken head, maybe? I don't know.
I can try to find.
Yeah, boy. Okay.
Just fact check.
I'm determined at this point. It's happening.
Any kitchen I've ever been part of, we all order off the menu. Like I get like the Kenny Metagon, which is like one of those smash burgers, 2 smash burgers with American cheese and pizza sauce.
Oh wow!
What about the little Kenny?
The little Kenny. Yeah, the little Kenny's just like a chicken head, but you have tomato and like a little bit of mayo. And then come on, Roller, you got your own sandwich. I didn't get menu sandwich though, Roller. Like you.
That is true. I do have a menu sandwich.
What is your sandwich, Chris?
The pork roller.
I almost ordered that. I'm not gonna lie.
Sounds good.
I had the chicken head.
Chicken. And I was. Yeah, it's got a little spicy mayo. I could see though it doesn't have an overwhelming spicy
they made it seem like it was gonna be spicy. I've been on a hot chicken kick for a very long time, and I really want an actual legit hot chicken sandwich again. And I can't get a good one in Philly. Nobody actually lives up to the hype.
Has one? Is it Honey's? No, what's the fried chicken place, Chris? I think you brought food in one day.
I've ordered from Honey's and they're good.
Front Street.
I ordered from Honey's on Grubhub and they're good. They're the closest I've come.
Okay.
They also have really good fried cauliflower bites.
Ooh, I love those.
Oh, they're so good.
Wait, did you just admit that you like cauliflower?
I have 2 heads of cauliflower in the fridge right now.
I have cauliflower bites in the freezer. They're really good.
Come on, Steph, I'm cauliflower pizza now.
Yeah.
I had cauliflower pizza for dinner and lunch today.
Yeah, no, cauliflower pizza is sad pizza.
Mm-hmm.
No,
sad
it's
pizza.
It's delicious
Agreed.
pizza.
I will say cauliflower can do a lot of things. I've had like cauliflower bites that are like kind of like buffalo chicken or like General Tso's chicken, but cauliflower cannot replace bread.
Well,
at Memphis, actually, we had like a chicken fried cauliflower. It was awesome, like a little cauliflower slaw in the middle of it. You probably would enjoy that.
Sounds
Your
pretty good.
I feel like I've had that actually at Memphis. I think I've been there with Steph. She's ordered it and I've tried it.
Steph will order it.
Yeah.
Right up her alley.
Yeah.
So yes.
All right.
We need to talk about the spaghetti sandwich for a moment.
I don't have the letter with me, but I have a picture of it. Maybe.
Oh my God, that letter was the best thing I've seen on social media in like the last month.
It was awesome. As a matter of fact, though, all of a sudden, like all of Philadelphia media is interested in it. Mike Klein was over yesterday to take a picture of it, and he asked us to make a spaghetti sandwich. Danya Henninger actually just texted me from Billy Penn. She wants to talk about it.
This means you have to put it back on the menu.
I'm going to find my phone. I have to read it.
Oh my God. You don't understand. Memphis Taproom makes this vegan spaghetti sandwich that is to die for. It is so good. And apparently they've taken it off the menu.
Yeah, well, what we did, Steph, is I thought we could use another vegetarian vegan entree item. So we took the vegan meatballs and spaghetti, made a garlic bread, and made it into an entree. And then we took the meatballs and made a vegan meatball grinder. If you want the spaghetti sandwich, we'll still do it for you, but we just, kind of twisted it up a little bit.
Did you hear that, people? They will still make it for you. It is okay.
But you have to say, you have to tell them that you have to
Four letters.
Tell them that Steph
I
sent
love
you.
that it was. Wait, I love that the letter was addressed to the owner of Memphis Tap Room.
Dude, it's like I'm calling them the notorious Lehigh Valley cereal vegan. And I don't.
Yeah, it was mailed from Lehigh Valley.
I can't see this.
Man.
I don't know how I don't even see the light on that or not.
Oh, there we go. Now we can see
a little
it.
bit, yeah.
I'll read the letter, but there's the envelope that comes in like kidnapper style.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Crazy. Oh my God.
I mean, that looks. You see that in the mail, and it's like I need to pay attention to whatever this is.
It was like Murder, She Wrote.
Are we all ready?
Is anthrax?
Yeah,
still
no,
a
he's
thing?
gonna do a reading. He's gonna do a reading.
Okay,
There's no
let's
anthrax.
hear it.
We're going to do a reading. And somebody asked me about anthrax yesterday, so if I die in the next 24 hours, you know what happened.
Oh
Because-
no.
Fair enough. I love that he put his reading glasses on. So this is official.
I have to. I'm an old man. Hello. I was informed today by a fellow colleague of mine with some troublesome news. I nearly passed out when the text came in. I had to sit down for a few minutes to regain my composure. The text read, they took the spaghetti and meatball hoagie off the menu. I figured this can't be. But in fact, this was indeed true. I'm begging you to please reconsider putting this menu back on the menu. This is a staple in the community right now. And if anything is going to get us through this Chinese virus, it'll be the carbs on top of carbs hoagie. Thank you.
Sincerely, a stoned Republican vegan.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Chinese virus.
I think we're being trolled.
Oh my God.
But they said if it's from Lehigh Valley and they said the community?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I think we're being.
Which community are you talking about?
Like during the protest, there was something that happened in the local police district, and the Memphis Tap Room was against it. There were people being allowed to kind of go across the street, use the N-word, do other things, get protesters come back and high-five the cops. It just was not cool. So we're not normally political, but with other businesses in Fishtown, we put something out there against that. I also allowed one of my bartenders to give money to bail out. That said, I come from a family of police officers and firemen and family in the military. Tomorrow, my cousin's 52nd anniversary getting shot down in Vietnam. So in no means are we anti-cop or anti-military. That said, I think it's some crazy Trumper analog trolling us. Because any self-righteous vegan that I know would not call this thing the Chinese virus. As a matter of fact, the first time
that
I
is
read
the
it,
clue.
I read right by Chinese virus because I'm reading who the fuck would send a letter about this?
Especially the Chinese virus. That is the fucking
Facebook. I don't really get this. But as time gone on, and then the other day I was just looking at it and decided to put it on my personal Facebook, which I guess Steph is how you saw it. Yeah. And now it's become quite the talk of the town.
Jesus,
that's crazy. An all over a spaghetti sandwich.
I nearly passed out was my favorite part. I have never in my life read a text that made me nearly pass out.
Yeah, but man, you never had your vegan spaghetti sandwich taken away.
I've had menu items.
That letter needs to be
taken
framed.
off places.
What's fun is it just sits in of course with COVID. Nobody's allowed inside the restaurant, and we work into the beer garden. It's literally just thrown on a table. I was thinking that though when I drove home. I really should put that in the frame so people can see it.
Yeah,
definitely. That should be part of the decor.
No, because I love the thing you have framed in the women's room at Memphis Tap Room about the bad seeds.
Yeah,
I've been there dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and every time I go to the bathroom, I still read it, and it makes me giggle. I feel like you need to frame it, put it in one of the bathrooms or put it somewhere. It's gonna make people giggle.
By the time people come indoors, we'll have it on the wall.
There you go. Also, I gotta say, I love the phrase "analog trolling."
Yeah, I figured you'd like that part.
I mean, it's like some kind of weird typewritten letter. It's a typewritten letter. I don't even think it's on the computer.
And didn't they type it and cut it out and paste it on the envelope? It's totally serial killer.
Yeah. I mean, it's
serial vegans, right?
It's only a step above cutting out the magazine letters for the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh God.
That's crazy.
Wait till Rich Landau shut down the little vegan to go place.
Street.
Wait till they come after him, and the serial vegans are coming.
You don't
that
understand
so
that.
good.
When I saw that he closed V Street, a tear ran down my face.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
sad. It's really
Yeah,
sad.
it is sad. I think it's just the situation that we're all in these days.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? It's I mean, there's some controversial stuff around that.
But
as
wait till
well,
the serial vegans come after him, man. They're going to string them up.
I know. It's gonna be letters upon letters upon letters.
No, apparently it's just the Lehigh Valley serial vegan.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
The Lehigh Valley League of Vegans.
Speaking of Memphis, I'm pretty sure I can blame Memphis Taproom for my recent obsession with pickles.
Oh, the fried
because
pickles?
of the fried pickles. I had them a couple of years ago with you, Steph, and they were great. And I was like, I don't like pickles, but these are good because they're fried. And then like I kept ordering them every time I was there, and now I eat pickles. In fact, there's a jar of pickles behind me.
Sweet.
Wait, are those Aldi pickles?
They are Aldi pickles.
We're doing our part for the world of fermentation.
Yes.
You know what I miss, Ken?
What's that?
The food truck.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
You can go visit it at 1675 Liquors up in Bristol.
Is it being used?
It is. It is.
Oh, nice.
That's why we
nice.
kind of sat on it for like a year or two, because people inquired about having it be where they could take fashion around to different places and have like people go in and sell stuff. They're like, no, it doesn't feel right. And talked to the guys at 1675 Spirits through a mutual friend. And it was going to be repurposed to be their food establishment on the grounds there. And I just thought that was a great home for it. So that's where it is.
So I don't think I've ever told you this, but there's actually a story that's been mentioned on this podcast many times. Early on in the podcast, Wayne and I had done some Philly Beer Week events. And as tradition, we ended at Memphis Taproom and we went to the food truck and got hot dogs. And I ordered one of the hot dogs with a vegan dog. And the guy asked me if I feel like you should tell this story, Wayne.
Well, okay. So it ends with my favorite quote of all time. You ordered it was like a vegetarian dog, and the guy was like, "Do you want cheese on it?" Or it was like a vegan dog. He's like, "Do you want cheese on it?" He's like, "Are you a vegan?" Because there was a cheese option, and Steph said, "I'm a vegan, but I eat cheese when I'm drunk." And that has stayed with me for years upon years upon years. I'm a vegan,
that happened in the Memphis Taproom Beer Garden.
But I eat cheese when I'm drunk.
And I eat vegan when I'm drunk. So, yeah. I'm great for that.
And now I'm a vegetarian because I can't give up cheese.
That is the hardest thing.
Who could?
It's tough.
Hard. It's so hard.
It's funny. I had a vegan business in like 2002 called the Kind Cafe. So
no way!
Strictly vegan, except I would come home to Northeast Philadelphia and crash and burn because there's no vegan food. So I'd crash and burn with like pizza. I was like, I get the pizza. And I'm like, I can't do it without it. Yeah. That was I used to say I did 6 months as a vegan, kind of like it was jail time, but it was great. I always realize when I say it, it comes out in this weird way, but it was great. To this day, I've been an omnivore, and I just love all different kinds of food. And I'll delve a little bit meat, but I'm happy to eat vegan as well. Yeah. Memphis especially, half our menu is vegan.
Well, the very first time I was ever at Memphis Taproom was for the one of the vegan beer dinners that you guys did.
Nice.
It was probably 8 years ago, 9 years ago, maybe.
Yep.
And it was one of the best meals ever. And every course was delicious and amazing. And what I loved is every course came with an entire pint of beer. And I don't even remember who was leading the dinner, but he would come around with a pitcher and just kept topping off all of our beers. I was so drunk by the end of that dinner. But yeah, and I would go back to Memphis, and every time I saw the chef, I'd be like, "Hey, when are you going to do another one of those vegan beer dinners?" And he would just shake his head like, "Ah." So I'm telling you,
Memphis is it's so small. So whenever you do any kind of plated dinner or something like that, it's just so hard to pull off. I mean, Nani had pulled them off for years, Monk's pulled them off for years, but the things that all these establishments have done, it's just amazing considering their kitchen size.
Yeah.
Well, if you did it during the summer, you
I was going to say that with the outdoor space but I mean,
you're
right about the kitchen.
About the plate,
it's about the kitchen.
About the plate up space and, frankly speaking, in the kitchen itself.
Yeah.
Because beer dinners, you lay everything out, you're sending out 50 plates at a time. And I come from the off-premise catering world. It's not like we wrap ourselves around it. It's just, space-wise and stuff. And then the other reason that we don't do them as much anymore is you're also asking, people kind of show up randomly to have their favorite thing at their favorite restaurant. And it's the worst thing in the world to show up and private event, I can't come in.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just do it on a Tuesday night when most people don't
if
go
we ever
out.
do them again. Because I was kind of I have a bunch of Dre Fontaine and Canton, so I was thinking about actually doing like a vegan sour beer dinner.
Oh,
wow.
nice.
That sounds like it's right
I'd
up
be there
Steph's
for
alley.
that.
Wayne, I think we should play a game.
We're
Anyway,
gonna play a game.
yes, why don't we play a game? I got to find the right button, and what do you know? There it is.
All right, well, here we go. Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games. It's the podcast trivia segment that's a weird dark metallic blue and likes the thickies.
Smurf blood.
Smurf blood. So we're going to play a game today. Everybody remember the good old days? When the prospect of spending hours in close proximity with hundreds or even thousands of strangers drinking beer only aroused the generally manageable level of social anxiety and not paralyzing existential dread. Basically, my point is, you remember when we can go to beer fests? Remember when that was a thing in person?
Yeah, I remember those things.
Yeah, so today we're going to play a game that honors those good old days. And we're going to talk about weird and unique beer fests that have happened in the past, but with a happy fun time twist. So what is going to happen is I'm going to give you a brief description of a weird beer festival, and you have to tell me if that's a real beer festival that happened or just something that I made up.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yes.
Oh, that's
yes. So hopefully the made up idea someday, when 6 feet doesn't mean as much as it does right now, we could try. But yeah, I'll tell you a little bit. Tell me if it's real or fake. You know the drill. We're going to start to my left with Dan. He's going to guess first on this one. Tell me, is this a real beer fest or is it fake? It's called All Ale to the Queen. Splicing the DNA of a Renaissance fair, a carnival, and a beer fest results in this unique event that includes beer samples, sideshow spectacles, and ye olde cosplay and games.
Christ, I hope it's real.
Dan is hoping that is real. Steph, do you think that's real?
I feel like it's real too.
All right, saying it's real. Chris, we'll go with you next.
I also feel like it's real. I hope that it is.
Yeah,
All
me
right.
too.
Everybody's saying real so far. Ken, agree or disagree?
Hail to the Queen.
Hail to the Queen, saying real. Everybody's saying real. Everybody is correct.
Circle gets a square.
Yeah, circle gets the square. It is or was real. It was the official closing event of Charlotte Craft Beer Week in North Carolina.
Really?
Generally was a great time, online reviewers have said, but it seems to have ended sometime around 2015, so doesn't happen anymore.
Which bathroom did they use?
Which what?
Which bathroom did they use?
Which bathroom did they use?
Yeah,
Moving on. Our next event of the game, and Steph is going to guess first on this one. This is the Brew Ski Festival. Capitalizing on the dual advantage that drinking beer, 1, makes everything more fun, and 2, keeps you feeling all warm and fuzzy inside. This beer fest is set up at the foot of the slopes at a ski resort. Guests can grab some beer and then head back to slide down an icy mountain at dangerous speeds. Is that real or fake?
Wait, is it?
It's the beer fest at a bottom of ski slopes.
I feel like it should be frowned upon to ski while intoxicated. I wouldn't ski sober
Should it?
because I'd break something.
I wouldn't ski sober.
I wouldn't ski drunk either, just for the record.
So
but I
you
kind of
wouldn't
think
ski.
it's real.
All right, Steph is saying that is real. Chris, what do you think?
I feel like it's real too. I feel like I vaguely remember.
You've been there.
I feel like I've been there. I think, maybe. All right. Ken, have you been there? Is that real? Is it fake?
I have not, but I've witnessed Chris being there.
All right, saying it's real as well.
I'll say yes.
All right, finally, Dan.
I mean, have you actually been there? Because it's...
I'm going to go no on
This-
that one.
this-
If this is a game within a game, if we're guessing if Chris has actually been there, I'm going to say no.
This
Wait, do we
sounds...
get bonus points so we can guess it?
I get bonus point.
This sounds like you. It sounds like a you description, and I think it's fake.
All right, Dan is saying it's fake. Dan is the only one who's wrong.
God damn it.
Because it is real. It's a real thing. It is held at the Boyne Highlands Ski Lodge in Michigan. It's in its 11th year. It's still going on. It's a pay-per-sample event. You pay $2 for 4-ounce pours, and there's a $15 cover charge, but entry is free to the ski lodge season pass holders. Brew Ski Festival is a real thing. Moving on.
Makes me want to get a ski pass in Michigan next year.
Yeah, right. just not even ski. Just hang out at the beer fest. You only save $15. All right, yeah. We're gonna move on, and Chris is gonna guess first on our next Brewfest. This is the Cool Kids Brewfest, and that's cool with a K, like Kool-Aid. Upon entry, attendees are given a collection of flavor powder packets to mix into their samples of beers. Several breweries offer suggested flavor powder and beer pairings, but guests are invited to experiment and come up with their own crazy combos. Is that real or fake?
I'll go, that's false.
All right, saying that is...
We should have one at the brewery.
Chris is saying it's fake. Moving on to Ken. What do you think?
I concur with Chris that we should have that at the Robot, but I think it's fake too because last two have been real, so odds are it's fun.
Saying it's fake, but they're going to do it in the future. Dan, what do you think?
I'm going fake.
Dan also going fake, and finally Steph.
Yeah, that's fake.
All right, rule of averages. Everybody says fake, and everybody is correct. It is, in fact, fake. May or may not have been inspired by a brewery that Steph and I visited in New Jersey.
Oh, I heard about that one.
So they're dropping stuff in the beers?
I mean, maybe.
I've been at fish shows and LSD, and the bed shows. But, all right, moving on.
Fair enough.
Can I say I've not laughed this much on the podcast in forever?
All right.
One too many cans open.
Too many cans open. Yeah. Hashtag too many cans. All right, Ken, you are up to guess first on our next one, and our next beer fest is Beer Bacon Music. Now, the idea behind this fest is not unusual. Most beer fests have live music, and there are a ton of beer fests that are themed around bacon. We know that. But what sets this particular fest apart is its 2-ton bacon buffet. A 9.7 million calorie buffet of various variants of delicious, greasy bacon. Is that real or fake?
Real.
All right.
Just because I bacon.
Saying it's real. Moving on to Dan.
Real, but if it's fake, Memphis is putting that on next year.
All right, fair enough. Dan also saying real. Steph?
I think it's real too.
Oh, everybody's saying real so far. Chris, agree or disagree?
I as someone who makes their own bacon, I have to concur that is real.
All right. Circle does get the square. It is, in fact, real. Everyone doing very well this game.
Just so you make your own bacon?
I do make
you
my
get the
own
pork
bacon.
belly and you cure it and all?
Yeah.
Nice.
You are now
You can bring home the bacon.
Oh.
Yeah.
It is real. It is held at a fairgrounds in...
And for Steph, we have an extra buffet at Memphis Tavern with the coconut bacon. Let's read it.
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
I'm not going to lie. I've always wanted to try that.
The coconut bacon is so good.
I've had some vegan bacons, and they kind of range. Like, some of them are okay. Some of them are good.
The coconut bacon's great.
It's a
Takes
tough
a long
thing.
time to get those off.
Yeah.
Yeah, the club sandwich at Memphis with the coconut bacon. Oh,
Interesting.
it's so good. You can't ever take that off the menu. Holy fuck!
She will write a letter.
You will get a pipe bomb in the mail.
Oh,
That's right. Hold on. If you give me a serial killer letter, we're taking it off.
So I just also want to point out that this beer fest, it's real, and it happens where? Frederick, Maryland.
Oh!
Yeah, we just talked to two people earlier tonight. Now, listeners will be hearing this after that.
Yes.
Is that how this
this
is
is
working?
201.
All right. So you guys know we talked to Idiom and McClintock with their Black is Beautiful collab earlier tonight in real time, but a different time in podcast time because life is weird. But yeah, they are also in Frederick, Maryland. So I actually Googled around to see if they were involved in this event, and it doesn't look like they have been. But who knows? Maybe in the future.
Maybe we need to message them and tell them.
About it. Yeah. So when you go to this event, there's hundreds of beers, but they do kind of seem like an afterthought. The event is.
You know what would be
all
really
about the bacon.
good for this event? A Roush beer, Mike.
Oh, that's a very good point. That is a very good point.
Mike from Idiom doesn't like Roush beers.
Oh, it's bacon in a glass.
Right?
Exactly, right?
It's how a vegetarian gets her bacon.
In case you're interested, some of the treats that have been on offer. Now, there's the bacon buffet, as I mentioned, which is just a bunch of different fucking bacon. But they've also had bacon-wrapped mozzarella sticks.
Look at Chris.
That's all right. I'm not gonna lie. That's a little too much.
Bacon Oreos.
Stop.
I just went somewhere for a second.
Did he say wet somewhere?
Yes.
Wet?
No.
I was like, wow.
Oh my god.
They've also had bacon soft pretzels dipped in chocolate or peanut butter or caramel, bacon thyme sausage, and spreadable bacon spread.
Well,
Yeah, that's not that uncommon. But yes, so bacon beer music is really real. So we have one more question to go, and this is the point at which I'm going to add up the scores, and we're going to let the loser go last so they have an advantage.
Well, Dan is the loser, so he's going last.
On the final question, and Steph is in fact correct. Steph, Chris, and Ken have a perfect score so far.
oh shit.
4 out of 4. Dan has 3 out of 4. So we're going to...
Dan, you loser. Loser!
Almost, but not quite. We'll find out in a
Wait,
second.
is this high school again?
Yes.
Nah, because I'd be losing with you.
All right, we're going to loop back around, and Steph is going to guess first on this one. Our last beer fest of the game. This is the Brew Bonanza and Cannabis Carnival.
I'm in.
This is held in Colorado, a magical land where all of this is perfectly legal. The festival boasts beers, buds, cannabis-infused beers, and beer-infused cannabis. Festival goers can enjoy curated beer and pot pairings, or beers made with marijuana, or weed infused with the oils that are distilled from beers at the festival. Is that real or fake?
Who's up first?
Steph is up first.
I'm going to say it's real.
Steph is saying it's real. Chris?
Well, I know Kenny's on Expedia booking a flight. I'm going fake.
Oh, saying it's fake. All right, Ken?
I'm going fake as well because they haven't allowed so far those two worlds to mix, even though they should.
All right. A very logical
Very
response.
pragmatic there, Ken.
Yeah.
We are talking about Colorado, I will remind you.
Yeah, but California, Colorado, I mean, that's why Lagunitas, when they made the beer, the wheat beer, they had to distill all the alcohol out of it. And it's funny, last year we're on the floor at CBC, and this cat was so happy. He had wheat beers on the floor at CBC with the labels off that they had worked on a de-alcoholization machine. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but all of a sudden we're walking around CBC with like blank cans, like this guy, with like THC infused beers that had no alcohol in it. But
We had a wheat
I
beer
digress.
at
Atlantic City.
AC Beer Fest.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, Dan, it's all down to you.
A lot of info to digest.
I'm gonna go fake.
Dan is saying fake.
It seems like a little too much.
Steph is the only one who said it was real. She is also the only one who was wrong. It is fake.
Tied for last.
It is fake. I made it all up. But I don't doubt that it will happen
In
soon.
your dreams. You
yeah,
made
right.
it up in
I
your
would
dreams.
go, dude. That sounds like a good time.
Ken, did you just? What was
if
that?
you want to curate that festival, you know, like I'm sure we'll get you together with Poe. We'll slide some beers across the street.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. So yeah, that was not real, unfortunately. So adding up the scores, we do have 2 people in first place with perfect scores. Our human robot friends, 5 out of 5 each. Chris and Ken, congratulations. Nary
Next
a,
level thing,
A
robot.
beer for each of us.
nary a wrong answer. My fellow beer busters, not much worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Both with 4 out of 5. Dan and Steph, this is what we call on the podcast a Polish pickle parade.
not quite a German sparkle party.
Not quite a German sparkle party. This is, of course, also the part of the podcast where we like to shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. These are the people who donate monthly to the podcast
for some reason.
to help everything keep going, and we would like to thank them very sincerely. I got distracted for a second because I feel like I may have... Okay, no. This list is in a different order than it normally is, so we're going to mix it up a little bit. We would like to thank the following individuals very sincerely, beginning with Dana.
Oh, well,
That's your business partner.
Sean Sullivan.
Gonna go back in time.
PA Brew Review.
Pow, pow, flavor, cool shit. Fuck yeah.
Topher Simmons.
Social media.
Poor Man's Brewing Company. It is, in fact, the farts. Mark Matunio. I appreciate a good cheese. Kathy Obashevsky.
It's all about the nuts.
Jill Chivers.
What?
James Lamberg.
Wait a fucking minute.
Eric Dixon.
No hashtags.
That's an old one. Jen McDonnell.
Delilah.
So is that. Brian Mills. Cerveceria. Ron McDonnell.
Technical yeasty problems.
Technical yeasty problems.
Technical yeasty problems.
Yeah. Who was that?
Tim from Harris
Sounds
Family.
like college. all
Oh,
over
Tim
again.
from Harris Family.
Yeah.
Okay. And Joe Mansell.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hi. Oh, that was John Stemler.
That was Stemler.
Oh, nice. All right. So, yeah, if you want to find out how you can get on this list and other cool behind-the-scenes perks, go to patreon.com/beerbusters. What do we do now, Dan?
Crack our backs.
Crack our backs and play some commercials.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
This episode is brought to you by Vinyl Me Please. Vinyl Me Please is a Record of the Month club. Every month, they feature one album that is essential to the modern vinyl collection. They send it to thousands of members worldwide. As a member, you're going to get features you won't find anywhere else, like bonus tracks, inserts, colored variants, 12x12 exclusive album-inspired art, and even a custom cocktail pairing recipe. They work closely with the label and artists to come up with something you're not going to find anywhere else. Colored vinyl, custom lyric books, and personal notes from the artist. The membership is flexible and will work for you and with you. And they know that trusting someone else with your music can be pretty scary, which is why you can substitute a record of the month with one from the VMP archives. There's no contract, no strings, no guilt trips, and you can cancel at any time, and they don't have any hidden fees, including shipping. Shipping is included with your membership. A couple examples of VMP Artists of the Month include Van Morrison, Queen, Muddy Waters, Beck, Mitski, Arctic Monkeys, Miles Davis, and Weezer. To find out more and sign up today, head over to joinvmp.com/beerbusters. Again, that is joinvmp.com/beerbusters.
Hey, you guys want to drink a Pilsner?
Sure.
Yeah.
Always.
What are we doing next?
Unfortunately, I only have one Pilsner glass left. What are we drinking next?
The Hallertau Pills.
Hallertau.
Ooh, fresh batch on the robot today.
Ooh.
Uber fresh.
I'm curious to see how full this Crowler is.
Who's going to get sprayed in the face?
All right. I've got about like a millimeter to a millimeter and a half less than the last one.
Yeah, it's about right.
That's a full
it's funny
1,000
because,
grams.
well, it's funny because crowlering up, particularly like the Pilsners, there's a little difference in carbonation between the hazies and the fruit beers. So often you might find a little bit more of a gap. Right, Chris? You can speak that better.
Yeah, we use thinner hoses for. Actually, we've just realized that using the thin hose from the tank and then the wider hose from the actual tap has been filling them much better than before. But with that carbonation, obviously, it's always a little trickier.
So we apologize for that millimeter. Next time we'll splash you in the face.
All right, fair enough.
Using a
Even
ping
robot.
pong.
We splash you in
We'll
the face.
splash you in the face.
We do have misters at our outdoor.
Oh, really?
Beer. Yes. So it's like a pirate ship. So we put the misters on, and you feel like you're on a galleon at sea.
Interesting. I actually did want to bring up. First of all, I want to mention this beer is really good. It's got a little more of that malt character than we saw in the what was it, the Sedlick?
Sedlick.
Yeah. Which is nice. But secondly, I did want to talk a little bit about. So you're a brewery that opened in February 2020 in the city of Philadelphia.
Smart guys, aren't we?
Yeah, that. I mean, you couldn't see the future. That leads to a lot of problems because the rest of the state has been gone to this like 25% capacity, but Philadelphia is still, you can't eat inside. So how have you guys adapted to COVID?
We're fucked.
I like it. Succinct and to the point.
That's why they're releasing robot glasses all the time.
Yes. Well, no doubt. I mean, the interesting thing, and you'll talk to beer companies all over the country, during the pandemic, beer sales are like off the chart, but it's mostly in package. Like at Memphis, right now I have 3 robot beers on at Memphis just because we want to provide the most fresh beer we can. At Robot, we've done a little bit of a pivot. We've got some tables outside. We sell a lot of beer to go through the door, but we're now going to be allowed to be 25% in February. And the plan that I think we're hatching that we talked about today,
I think you mean
September.
September.
Slots in the brew house, in the tasting room, that people can come in for like a 90-minute slot, and aside from that, we don't really know what to do, frankly speaking.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is evolving.
We'll see how it goes. We're going to try to do something. We interestingly enough, there's the little Sunflower Park across the street. We have a great relationship with them, and that was going to be our outdoor plan. And then right when we got the opportunity to start actually serving beer outside, they closed down for 6 weeks for renovations. So we had to scramble and come up with an outdoor seating area quickly. And it's worked out pretty well. I think we're going to have to face another challenge now with how we're going to work the indoor aspect of it. We were talking today, like Kenny said, doing time slots. So I think it's a doable model for now.
And we have a space out back that we haven't really delved into yet, because behind the brewery is a kind of cool. It's actually literally a city street that's been rocked over. So at some point, I think we're going to move out there. But our initial pivot was, we ordered some high top tables from Walmart. We took out some stools. We put them all on the sidewalk. And since then, we reached out to our friends at New Liberty. They gave us some barrels. There's a Vietnamese guy, Pam, that came along that's a mutual friend, put some plants out there. Mr. Robo Wonka himself here, build out some poles, barrels, lights, and sails. So we've actually that's why we call it our simulated pirate ship, because we have this kind of pirate mentality. There's a post sign out there. I keep threatening to put like an eye patch over.
And now we have flags too.
We do.
I saw them.
You were gung ho about hanging a flag the other night when I was there.
Yeah, I was trying, but we never got it up.
They have bills for that. Don't worry.
I see a line coming. I see a one-liner coming.
Yeah, no.
Arg!
Oh, nice.
They're fabulous.
Oh, that's what it was. That's a cool design.
That is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, what's funny is too, we ordered them because they were going to be here in like 2 days, and like 8 days later, they were held up in a post office in like Bangladesh. You're like, oh, really? 2 days, huh? So
Yeah.
they're here finally. Actually, Chris, I think you can speak about the mast. Chris is building a big mast that's going to go up on 5th Street.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Like a tall ship for Penn's Landing.
I mean, our biggest issue, honestly, has been there's crazy amount of, and sometimes it's fun to watch traffic on 5th Street, but people speed down there. PA, Department of Transportation, close your ears right now. We've actually bought some of our own like lower speed signs. We talked about in the middle of the night going out and put speed bumps out there, because we call it the 5th Street. So from the pirate ship, you can view the 5th Street Speedway. It's the biggest fucking thing in the world.
Wow.
Some days there's Jeep parades. There's like, I'm getting like 300 Hispanic folks riding crazy Jeeps down.
The Jeep Brigade. They have Jeeps with AK-47s mounted to the hoods of these Jeeps. It's unbelievable. You've never seen anything like it.
And some days there's like
Max
the motorcycle with the
Kensington.
tricycles and people all coming down like popping wheelies. I had my wife's Korean, so I had Korean friends of hers in town last week from New York City, and they were like, "This is the best thing in the world." And they had like kids there. How do you entertain kids? Well, just let them watch what goes down this street, because they just sat there and mesmerized. I was like,
just don't let them out in the street.
And the crazy part is they're from New York City, so you think that they've seen every crazy thing in the world. No, they love the 5th Street Speedway.
Wow. I will say, in fucking West Philly, they can't pick up the trash, but they've put speed cushions in fucking everywhere all of a sudden.
Wait. Speed cushions?
Yeah, they're not speed bumps. They're speed cushions.
It's the politically
they're
correct
things they
term.
pulled in, right?
Yeah, and they've been popping up not where we live. Dan and I are in South Philly, but my girlfriend lives in West.
We're in South Philly where anything goes.
It doesn't matter. You can park on the sidewalk here, nobody cares. But in West Philly, they put all these fucking speed cushions in, and yet the trash sits on the street for 3 fucking weeks and nobody picks it up. Like,
we're putting those speed cushions in on our own.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's going to notice.
The funny thing is, I was looking into buying speed cushions.
But the thing is, they are actually different things. They're like a speed bump is like a lump of concrete that goes across the whole road.
The ones that are screwed in. Right?
Yeah, these are like rubber things that kind of sit in the middle of the road. Yeah.
So I had looked into buying those and putting them in the middle of the night, all covert and whatnot. And I mentioned to one of the manager of Pose, Andrew, and he's like, "Dude, fuck that! You want them to slow down? Don't put speed cushions in. Let's just dig a hole." I was like,
no,
that's better.
True. That's true.
Yeah, and then I was like, yeah, that's what we need, dude. Somebody hit like a thing, and all of a sudden they hit our fucking barrels, and the pirate ship has a big hole. We're sinking on this.
Yep, going under, taking on water.
We're going under, like the Edmund Fitzgerald, man.
All right, that's you, matey. Or something.
Oh my god.
So
wait, hold on. You made me think of something. Do you guys are you renting the space you're in?
We do.
So do you have any of the upstairs space?
We do not. Yeah, the upstairs is cool, man. It's amazing to me that St. Ben's never used it. Yeah. Really, it's a really cool, big, amazing space.
Yeah.
But one of the reasons that that the owners bought the building was so they could develop apartments up there.
Yeah, because we were in the upstairs space. Probably the last time I was up there was before St. Ben was even open to the public.
I never got to see that. You guys did. I got there late.
There were 32 horse stalls in there for the old German brewery that was there.
And then there
was Theo Funkhauser Lager Brewery in 1859 for like a year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and there was also that space that you could go outside and be on like the roof, and then there was this beautiful view of Philadelphia. Such a cool building.
We don't even know about the roof.
Yeah, that's where we had. Well, interestingly enough, I know about the roof because one day Jake came running and he's like, "There's fucking water coming in everywhere." So we went up on the roof in a downpour and threw a tarp over where the flashing had a hole in it to keep it from coming in because it was coming into our bathrooms that we had just painted, of course, at the Robot. So yeah, I'm familiar with that with that roof. Not so much the beautiful scenery though.
Well, I wasn't sure how much had been turned into apartments and what was still.
Yeah, now it's all apartments. It's all framed out, and the electricians have been in there pulling wire. It'll probably get rocked out in the next month.
Yeah, that's cool. The guys that have been doing all the work in there that are work with the owners of the building also made our concrete tables. Like Matt was awesome. It's actually been a real benefit to us to have them working in the building. If we need something, they kind of help us find a solution.
I just got back from the bathroom. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That was quick.
Should we close this up and move on to last call?
Definitely last call.
We have, Dan and I have one more beer. Are we going to do that in last call?
I have two more. Well, two more, but whatever.
No, you have one and a crowler you're going to donate to me.
Here, so. I don't want to spill anywhere on myself. But.
That splash looks delicious, Ken. Is that
so thick.
Is that the Kenzo Creek or is that the triple?
No, dude, this is triple berry fluff.
Okay.
Low fill.
Kenzo Creek was a good one as well. Last week.
Kenzo Creek was good.
Craig LeBon's pairing it with family dinner.
It looks like it came out of a creek.
Oh shit!
Oh yeah.
Yeah, last week we did double cherry plum, and Craig LeBon paired it with dinner last night, apparently.
So all of these beers are goddamn delicious. When can people go get them at Human Robot?
Every day.
Every day. Because
literally every day.
Recently,
every day. We open at 12.
Okay.
Depending on day, we're open between 9 and like 10 at night.
Okay.
You can get them in, well, not this crowler. Any of these beautiful like gold crowlers to go.
Yeah.
So we gold and silver and gold. A pearlized moment.
Pearlized, baby.
So the selections that we have though at the window are beers that have been freshly crowlered that we have, but we also have 12 draft lines. So a beer that might have been available in crowlers a week ago that's no longer available is now available from on our draft as well, including we have a seltzer. We call it the Robo Spritz or Sellout Seltzer line. We have a house cider. Yeah, Robo Wonka throws together a new spritz every week. And we also
wait. Hold the phones. I don't think we explained to our listener that Robo Wonka is Chris's nickname.
Yeah. Only because I really hate Willy Wonka, so they started calling me Wonka. He's always in there.
Who hates Willy Wonka?
Mixing up.
Because early on, I called him like the Willy Wonka.
Don't tell everyone.
And he said, no, I want no affiliation with Willy Wonka. So, of course, we had to run with it. But Chris, I guess, had a deadly fear of little people when he was young. So, like, the whole show, like, freaked him apart.
When I was young.
I don't want to get into it. I'm sorry, when he was young, like, when he was, like, 29.
I was going to go a totally different way. Just be like, you don't want to be associated with Willy Wonka because his labor practices are unsavory. But then,
unsavory.
Then the
just
fear of little people came out, and now that theory's out the window.
But as far as packaging goes, Ken, don't you want to share something else with them?
Nice job, Chris.
Good save.
Are we talking candy line stuff or?
Yeah.
You guys getting a candy line?
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually. Yeah, so we'll have a canning line hopefully by the end of this month. So we'll be able to put stuff like the Czech 10 in cans, Polo Tomave in 16-ounce cans, things that so far we've only been putting in larger format because the expense of doing mobile canning is just ridiculous. And it should be fun. Chris, you can talk a little bit more about that, but we're really excited to have it. We have a Jimmy Scantron's our friend that's doing some graphic art stuff. So like some of the designs on particularly the Czech 10 and the Polo Tomave are just incredible. They have a real good old school beer feel.
Yeah, we get a lot more flexibility. It's not so much that we're just not good at mobile canning apparently, but because you're under the gun and they can only come on certain days, and I can understand that. But it'll be nice to be able to have our own canning line where we can decide what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, deliver the best product that we can rather than doing what we have to make beer available. So I think this is really going to be good for us and good for the consumer, but I think everybody's going to be happy with it, and we'll be able to get the freshest beer we have into your hands, and it's going to be great.
Very cool. Looking forward to that. I want to buy 6 packs of Polo Tomave.
Did you look at my
so dope.
Yeah, that's very helpful.
You had to look at that.
He wrote Polo, pipe, ta, pipe, mauve, pipe,
I wrote that before we started recording, and then I forgot how to pronounce it later.
Polo Tomave.
I was supposed to be in Canada next week, so is pretty much all that's going to be my vocabulary.
If you want to find Human Robot on the internet.
So we know when people can go up to there every day, even though when I went there on a Monday 3 weeks ago, you guys weren't open, but... Every day now.
After that, someone else came down from.
It was specifically the day after I was there. They were like every day.
Mondays we were closed. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually had a cat come down from like North Jersey, and I felt so bad. We all felt so bad.
Oh.
He came down because on the internet it still said we were open every day. So we were like, all right, we're gonna have to be open every day. We invited him down to kind of have a couple extra beers and do some stuff on his return visit. But some of it was just really trying to give our window staff a break. We have, a lot of our bartenders were not comfortable coming back after COVID. So we have a few guys that really have been kind of filling the role. And to give them a break, we took Mondays off, even though we're kind of in-house on Monday. So a couple weeks ago, we decided that we will change back, and we're there every day now.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it's a balance. It's definitely a tight wire act, trying to figure out who's comfortable versus should we be open for the business aspects of it. And it's a time nobody ever would have thought was coming, and nobody knows how to deal with it, and we're all just trying to fucking get through it the best we can. And I can't imagine owning a business fucking let alone two businesses can. Trying to figure out how to navigate this weird landscape. And the fact that you were able to open right before the world stopped but still kept going as a new brewery is pretty fucking crazy. But also, crazy awesome.
The other part of being open again on Mondays was we realized that there's a lot of industry folk that have kind of gone back to work, and Monday is their day.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, man, if a lot of people are going back to work and they have to put up with this, let's be open on Mondays so at least they can come get a beer.
No, that's a good idea. That's a good move.
Definitely geared to it.
And then, man, to be quite honest with you, we had to make the pivot. And Philadelphia, our neighborhood, the city has just been wholly supportive of us. We really have to kick it out to the neighborhood, has really taken care of us. They've embraced the beer. We honestly try and listen to what people's feedback is and react based on that. But I have to say, the people in the neighborhood, people in the city have just been great for us.
Yeah, Sunflower's been great. Tame's been great.
It's good.
Everybody's been really helpful in the immediate area for sure.
Good. Philly knows how to drink, and they know how to take care of the people that get them drunk. And
oh boy,
here we go.
Here she goes.
Oh my God, it's like a '70s scary movie.
She does kind of look like a shag carpet.
Yeah, a little bit. We almost made it. But she made herself known. So if we know people can go get you.
Holstein cow cat.
What's that?
A Holstein cow cat?
Yeah, pretty much.
Her name is Moo. This is Dance Cat.
I got her. She was named before I got her. I got her 6 years ago, and the people that had her before named her Moo, obviously. And
I have a dog named McDuff who was named McDuff.
Nice.
Moo!
Yeah. So we know people can go get your beer every day. Where can they find you online if they want to follow and see what's going on?
On Instagram, Human Robot Beer. Instagram's probably the best place to follow us. We also have a Facebook page. And then, quite honestly, our website's been taken over by our online store. So if you go to humanrobotbeer.com, it'll take you right up to whatever beers we have available right then.
I thought you were going to say, our website's been taken over by the Mongols.
By the elite hacksaws.
Yeah. Khan came across the plains.
Right.
Of course.
So you guys you offer pickup. Do you guys do delivery?
We were doing a little bit of delivery, but it's really fallen off. And for the same
it's
reason
tough.
that the same folks are being pulled for multiple resources,
Yeah.
we backed off recently. We will say this: if you are immune compromised or you're in a situation that you can't leave your home and you need beer in the city of Philadelphia, we'll figure out a way to get it to you.
That's
awesome.
Good. That's
cool.
amazing. And that kind of hits home because a very good friend of mine is immunocompromised, and I'd love nothing more than to go see him and his kids, but I can't because he's immunocompromised, and we don't know what'll happen. So we got to play it safe, and FaceTime is the best I get. So that's awesome that you're willing to make that exception for the people who actually do need it and may still want to drink your beer. Well, damn. You're out there in podcast land. Remember, you can follow along at Beerbusters on Twitter and Instagram.
Here's what you need to do. Go on the internet and type Beerbusters. We're there.
If they made it this far into the episode,
We're
know.
there.
You know where to find. Sure, fine. Yeah, whatever. Unfortunately,
We have a website.
Unfortunately, my friends, this brings us to the end
We're on
of another
Instagram.
episode because I got 43 seconds from hitting that button to say yes. Guys, thank you for joining us. This was amazing and long overdue.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Oh my God! Look at
Jesus, Ken, and we're sorry you broke a glass during this.
Come to the pirate ship.
Yeah. Well, he's got more to drink, and Ken's gonna drink that in last call.
Yeah. Well, you out there, thank you for listening. And
oh
God,
oh boy, this is what we do on Beer Busters. We break up marriages.
this. Never mind. I'm Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and virologist,
Steph Hefner.
and the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Thank you.
No squids were harmed in the making of
Squids,
this episode. We'll see you next time.
Rating and review all the podcasts you listen to.
Moo.
Apple Podcasts.
She turned. She turned
did.
when
She
you
looked.
said her name.
She can't hear though because everything's in the headphones.
That's
There's
true.
There's no sound.
That's true. She can sense it though.
She just knows.
The waves. Moo. Everyone, one time.
Everybody's-
Moo.
Oh my
She's confused.
I refuse to
She's
participate in
confused.
this.
Do you like beer? Do you like swag? Of course you do, assuming you didn't find us by mistake. The Beer Busters swag shop is back and better than ever. We've taken the Beer Busters logo and slapped it on some t-shirts and hoodies. And if that's not your style, there are all new original design beer style logos. Whether you're a lager guy or gal or part of the haze craze, there's a logo for you. Already have too many shirts and hoodies? Me too. Slap a sticker on your computer, kegerator, or forehead for the world to see. Or pin a button to your backpack, your jacket, or your beer cooler on your brewery adventures. Head on over to beerbusters.threadless.com and find your new favorite wares right now.